talk about questioning technique. It is a technique which helps learner to be engaged in the classroom. It plays an important role to create a learning environment. With this technique, students can be engaged. When teachers learn this technique, they can get better classroom participation. Talk about type of questioning technique. Open questions, closed questions, probing questions, leading questions, funnel questions, rhetorical questions, recall and process questions, and loaded questions. Once Thomas Kuhn said, the answers you get depend on the questions you ask. So that is why asking right kind of questions to get the exact answer which you are looking for is important. Now let's talk about open questions. Open-ended questions require a little more thought and generally encourage wider discussion and elaboration. They can't be answered with a simple yes or no response. What do you think of your boss, or why did you choose that car? This type of questions require the answer with more information than one or two word reply. That is why we use why, what, who, when, where, etc. Now, usage of open questions are that this is critically used in critical or creative discussion, finding out more information about the subject or a person. Now let's talk about another kind of questioning technique, that is closed or the polar questions. Closed or polar questions generally invite a one-word answer such as yes or no. For example, do you drive? Did you take my pen? Could also include answers to factual or multiple choice questions. Popular as icebreaker questions in group situations because they are easy to answer. Of course, most questions can be opened up for further discussion, including closed questions, but more on later. Warming up group discussion, getting a quick answer. Probing questions are useful for gaining clarification and encouraging others to tell you more information about a subject. Probing questions are usually a series of questions that dig deeper and provide a fuller picture. Example, when do you need the finished project? Is it okay if I email it to you? Usage of probing questions are useful for seeing the bigger picture, encouraging a reluctant speaker to tell you more information and avoid misunderstandings. Leading questions are designed to lead the respondent towards a certain desired positive or negative route. In the workplace, you might encounter leading questions such as, do you have any issue with the project, or did you enjoy working on the project? Usage of leading questions. Building a positive discussions, closing a sale, steering a conversation towards an outcome that serves your interest. That is why leading questions are really encouraged in the official conversations. Loaded questions are seemingly straightforward closed questions with a twist. They contain an assumption about the respondent. They are famously used by lawyers and journalists to trick their interviewing into admitting a fundamental truth they would otherwise be unwillingly to disclose. Usage and example of loaded questions. The questions, have you stopped stealing pens? Assume the respondent stole a pen more than once. Whether she answers yes or no, she will admit to having stolen pens at some point. Now talk about funnel questions. Funnel questions is like a funnel. First, we ask open questions, then we open the conversation, then we open the target, then we start going closed and check. Questions begin broadly before narrowing to a specific point or vice versa, as shown in the picture added on previous slide. When meeting someone new, we usually begin with specific closed questions such as what's your name, what do you do, before broadening into more open-ended questions. The reverse beginning with a broad questions before honing in something specific is used when questioning witness to gain the maximum amount of information about a person. What do you do for a living? Do you work at night? Did you see a break-in? Was there more than one person? Such kind of questions. Now, usage of funnel questions are mostly used for building relationships, discovering very specific information about a person or a subject, or diffusing an argument or arguments. Now let's talk about recall and process questions. First, we will talk about recall questions. Recall questions require the recipient to remember a fact. For example, what's 7 times 7? Where did you put the keys? Now, on the other hand, process questions require the respondent to add their own opinion to their answer. Recall and process type of questions can be used to test the respondent's depth of knowledge about a particular topic. Example, what are the advantages of asking closed questions? Usage of recall and process questions are encouraging critical thought and in-depth evaluation of a subject in test, interview, or the discussions. Both of these questions are extremely important. Let's talk about rhetorical questions. These are different beasts altogether because they don't really require an answer. They are simply statements phrased as a questions to make the conversation more engaging for the listener who is drawn into agreeing with you. Purpose of rhetorical questions are often used by coaches or public speakers for effect to get the audience thinking and agreeing. In this way, they are not too distant cousin of leading questions. Persuading people and building engagement it is used for. Thank you for watching the video. Keep on watching the videos for grammar, questioning technique and teaching techniques.